The African Transformation Movement is demanding that the police be held accountable. This for the theft of an undisclosed amount of money, allegedly in foreign currency, from the president's Ramaphosa Farm in Limpopo. The party believes there has been a cover-up by police and has made a statement at the office of the Independent Police Investigating Directorate. Reporter Govan Whittles is following the story and joins us now live. Govan, I'm very interested to find out what exactly this statement says and what they're hoping to achieve from this.
Well, the end goal for the African Transformation Movement is to have an investigation started by the Independent Police Investigative Directorate. They haven't brought anything new to the table here. Instead, they've cobbled together all the evidence that's out in the public domain. That would be Arthur Fraser's affidavit, the statement by the Inspector General of Police in Namibia, and then a number of news reports. And they've submitted this dossier to the investigators at IPID. Interestingly enough, the ATM's president, Vuyo Zungula, says that when they arrived at the meeting, IPID told them that they were still looking at all the evidence in the public domain and putting it all together, and they hadn't yet decided whether to make an application to actually investigate the police for their conduct following the robbery at the Ramaphosa Farm. Let's listen to the ATM president and what he says were the grounds why they brought this case to IPID. What exactly were the crimes that they believe were committed by the police and why IPID should investigate?
There is not reporting prescribed crimes in respect of Section 13.2 of the Sex Act of 1995. We note that the crime, like we've already stated, there's a confirmation that a crime indeed was committed. And however, it was not reported, and the subsequent actions that were done by the police in terms of meeting in no man's land, apprehending the suspects, it was not done within the ambit of the law because the crimes were not committed. The other one was the unlawful interrogation of suspects, and the other one that is very critical, which is the kidnapping, because kidnapping speaks to the fundamentals of our country, where it speaks about the Bill of Rights, because if a person has been deprived his right to movement, it speaks to the crux of the problem that we face, whereby the suspects or alleged suspects have been unlawfully kidnapped so that whatever investigation that the police were going to do, they could do it. So those are amongst the crimes which IPID has said it falls within their mandate.
Interesting developments there, Govan. Perhaps tell us if you know when IPID is going to come out and say we are willing to investigate, or we can investigate, given what's been presented to us by ATM.
Yeah, so whether or not they investigate is not as straightforward as we might think. Today's meeting between the African Transformation Movement and the IPID investigators was just the first step. From here, the IPID investigators will have to apply to the executive director of IPID to launch an investigation, and in order for them to do that, a certain threshold needs to be met. But what the ATM says is encouraging is that what they've presented to the investigators was met with positive responses. They say the investigators have agreed that the alleged crimes they're complaining about do fall within the jurisdiction of the IPID, but as yet no decision has been made on whether or not they'll actually open an investigation. We spoke to IPID's spokesperson about this, and they said that it'll at least take a few days before the executive director of IPID decides whether there is sufficient grounds to launch a probe.
So basically what I'm hearing is that the ATM is just trying to put a little bit of pressure and say, here's the evidence for you. We feel as though there are grounds to investigate. But of course, IPID will have to be in a position where they say, actually, we don't know if this evidence is sufficient enough or not.
That's exactly right, and we should also view this with broader political eye, because the ATM has been trying to push for accountability on the Ramaphosa issue in Parliament, as well as in different other forums. They've made it clear they want Bheki Cele, the minister, to be investigated as well, and that they're opposed to the new National Police Commissioner, Fani Masemola's appointment. They've gone as far as accusing the new National Commissioner of being part of this cover-up, and that's exactly what they want IPID to investigate. So the ATM's agenda has been put on the table before. They've made it clear what they would like to achieve, but just laying the complaint doesn't mean the investigation is going to happen, although there does appear to be sufficient grounds for IPID to have a look at this.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that update. We'll trust you to keep tabs on that story. Thank you so much. That was our reporter, Govan Whittles.